everybody, out here hanging with my kid, enjoying the weather, trying not to get too hot. And I'm going through my feeds and I'm talking to my peeps. Yeah. My son's over here like, yeah, Mom, tell it. And I keep seeing something pop up. And of course, you know me, if I see something pop up over and over and over again, or get asked questions about it over and over again, I see that as a sign that this is something I need to pay attention to. And lately it's been this weird binary bullshit. And I know that some of you might be popping on here thinking I'm going to be talking about like gender and sexuality and stuff like that. And while that is a huge topic that I'm cool with discussing, not the subject of today's video. The issue that I keep seeing pop up is actually within witchcraft and paganism and polytheism. Trying to figure out how to word this without being a total bitch. So what I'm seeing is a lot of people within these communities are bringing over their filter. The filter that I'm talking about is the one that's placed on us like almost at birth in our society. And now when I say our society, I'm talking mostly about Western civilization, which is a bullshit term. But, you know, this patriarchal, colonized, monotheistic filter that we view the world through. And it's from how most of us are raised. You know, we're raised in a society that has a gender hierarchy and has, we view most of our stuff through the, you know, how we relate to it and our programming. And until we start seeing ourselves for ourselves and seeing what exactly is our programming versus what it is that we actually think, you know, a lot of us don't see the filter. A lot of us don't see that this programming, this way the world is viewing things is actually causing us to view things differently than if we, you know, were raised within our belief system. Most of us were not raised within witchcraft, paganism, polytheism, that sort of thing. And let me just get down to what I'm talking about. A lot of it, hey Julia, so what I'm seeing a lot of is like factions within witchcraft. And I think a lot of it is from our media, who says, you know, I'm talking like movies and books, saying like there's high magic and low magic. That bullshit binary that the filter of patriarchal, colonized monotheism has given us. That there's good and bad, light and dark, high and low. And when we have high and low within witchcraft, we have these factions. And you see it in almost every tradition, which is weird. Like, you wouldn't think that that would be the case whenever you leave. Nuh-uh, baby, no. He's getting the bug spray. When you leave traditional, patriarchal religion, you think that you'd leave that behind, and you don't, because, you know, especially those of us who are in religions that are being reconstructed, it's, they're being reconstructed. They were stripped from us. So we can only go by what we can find. And we still have the, we're still subjective because of, you know, our experiences as filtered human beings, as programmed human beings. So we see these binaries. We see high magicians practicing hermeticism, and then looking down on, I'm not saying all of them. I know some people who practice high magic who are awesome, but you see so much of it as saying like it's better than folk magic. Like folk magic, it's a bad name. Or even vice versa. High magic gets a bad name because it looks like Satanism, or, you know, how the media depicts Satanism, we get stuff like there's this weird faction that's Rune Magick versus Trolldom. Magick versus Trolldom. Like, what the hell is that nonsense? That's one I recently came across. Like, I don't know. It's almost like people think that because it's folk magic or Scandinavian folk tradition, that it's not as powerful as rune magic. When Scandinavian folk magic is what survived. That's, you know, if you're going to try and reconstruct magical practices, you got to look at Trolldom, because that's the survivor of the colonization. People are so dramatic. That is so true, Julia. And I think that I actually was like not wanting to talk about this because I was like, man, I'm just going to be looking like I'm blowing this out of the proportion. But when you see something so often, and today it was also, it was the Trolldom versus Rune Magick, and then it was also like a couple posts about voodoo versus hoodoo. That hoodoo is just folk magic. It's just superstition. It's not an actual belief system. Bitch, please. I am not a voodoo practitioner. I have studied hoodoo, so I'm not gonna like come at this from a expert's position. But we are not in a position in this society for witches to be at each other's throats over who has more powerful or better magic. Like, let's deal with the fact that we are all still dealing with bullshit persecution and handle that, and then once that's over with, then yeah, maybe we can have some of these discussions. But mostly I can talk from like the Trolldom Rune Magic perspective. Let's learn from each other rather than being bitches to each other. How about that? Also within like the high magic and low magic, this is binary BS that has been given that to us through this filter of colonization. And I know some of y'all might be thinking like, what is this white girl talking about with colonization, as if she has lost something? You know what? All of us come from indigenous practices and indigenous traditions that were stripped from us. And I love it. I think the person who said it the best, or the way that I was able to grasp most fully, was Galina Kraskova. And I know I mention her all the damn time, guys. I'm sorry. Not sorry. She said it in a really great way of, I'm about to paraphrase. Damn it. She said it something along the lines of, our indigenous traditions were stripped from us. And then we, in a strange Stockholm syndrome, went forward and did the same to other people who were not like us. And we gotta stop. We gotta stop it. Because how can we continue to pass on our traditions to my beautiful boy over here who's munching on some apple? How can we pass on these traditions? How can we make ourselves safe and respected and strong? Hi, beautiful. This is who I do it for right here, guys. This is it. Yep, that's the baby. We got a Leo rising right here, so yeah, how can we make it better for us? How can we make ourselves safer and make our practices not under persecution? And if y'all think that the witch trial bullshit is done, I don't know what rock you're living under, but we still deal with it. There's people in other countries that are dealing with it worse. No, you may not have tea. You know better. It's sweet tea, guys. He can have herbal tea. But yeah, we've got people who are practicing their indigenous traditions that are being persecuted. There are people who are practicing reconstructed reconstructed practices that are being persecuted. We have, within heathenry, we have people who are wanting to ban. Hi, baby. Back up, baby.
Hi.
Hi.
Like good apple?
Was it a good apple? That's awesome. You know, people are wanting to take away our runes.
Hello.
Because some neo-Nazi assholes are using them. That's ridiculous. Let's not let our traditions and our practices and our belief systems be perverted in this way because of this filter. So I guess it's just my hey, which is let's not be awful to each other. Let's help each other out and learn from each other, because we are not each other's enemy. So go out and hug a witch. I'm gonna go play with my kid. Bye, y'all. Mwah.